I come here before you to make an announcement and deliver a message. The American people have woken up. The American people are now wide awake, and I know you, the people of Nevada, are wide awake. We are shining the bright light of truth on the shadow that is over the American Republic. Because we have sat back for far too long as our towns, as our cities have been turned into dumps. They've flooded us with infinite migrants, with illegal drugs, with violent crime, and we are here to say no more. We left our beloved towns, we left our communities, we packed our bags, and we said it'll get better. This will all blow over, but it didn't. It got worse and worse and worse. And ladies and gentlemen, it was all done by design. By a godless, globalist elite that is hell-bent on breaking our spirit and turning us not into free citizens, but into mindless consumers. Well, I have a message for the globalists. You want to break our spirit? You will never break the American spirit. You will never break the human spirit. And you will never break our spirit, because unlike you, we are not animated by selfishness, but by love of our homes, of our lands, of our forefathers, of our families, and the worship of the Almighty Lord, and He alone. Nothing you have done has been able to change this, and nothing you have done has been able to stop us. So in this election, we have a choice between one candidate who is controlled by that shadow over our republic, or the one man who is backed by the American people. Ladies and gentlemen, America is back. The American people are back, and we are so back. Now we must put this man back into the White House to finish the mission that he began back in 2016. We are going back to an America where a family can take their kids out to the drive-in under the stars and not worry about violent crime, and not worry about how much the popcorn is going to cost, or worry about the oils that were used to make it, or that the movie would teach them to hate their country or hate their people. No more. We are going back to the America that we came from. To my two little boys who I know are watching right now, Jack, and AJ, once Daddy is done talking, it's time for bed, as it's a school night. But so for ladies and gentlemen, for my family and yours, for our freedom and yours, in just 10 days, we will help this man make America great again. Because we need leaders who will put to the test. And on July 13th, 2024, in a field in Butler, Pennsylvania, this man faced the ultimate test. He faced the test of whether or not he was willing to go all the way. And ladies and gentlemen, as I will tell you, Donald J. Trump is willing to pay for this country with his own life itself. That is the test that he has passed. Because we know that in giving that, he was told by his creator that he would be saved. And never let them tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that you did not see a miracle that day before your very eyes, that you did not see the hand of God reach down and save the life of this man. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in this world, and spiritual wickedness in high places. Therefore, put on the full armor of God. When the day of evil comes, you will be able to stand, and you will stand. And when they ask you what you did when America was on the line, you will be able to tell your children and your children's children that you fought like patriots, and you fought like Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless America. God save the Republic, and God bless Donald J. Trump.
Let's welcome Jorge Masvidal.
How's everyone doing? Let's go, let's go. First and foremost, I want to say, Jesus Christ is King. You know? Just making sure I'm at the right rally. I know there's another rally, some occult stuff, some weird stuff, so I'm making sure I'm at the right one. How's everyone doing, huh? Good? Let's go. Let's get it right in here, because Mr. President is in the building, or POTUS is in the building. Let's get right. Come on. Make some noise for our boy. The eagle has landed. Check me out. My name is Jorge Masvidal, and some of you might know me. No, I'm not a promoter at a club. For fighting in the UFC, having the fastest knockout in the world, and then the UFC created a belt called the BMF belt, and I was the first one to win it. But let me tell you, I'm humbled at this rally, at this event, because there's a real BMF here. There's a BMF much bigger than me. This is almost like the Loch Ness Monster, this mythical monster. This dude eats bullets and gets up to fight socialism. This dude that I'm talking about destroys wars all over the world. There's no wars when this guy's taking power. This mythological creature that I'm talking about is a real fighter, because shit, I fight for me, my kids, my mom, my dad, a couple of my friends, my lavish lifestyle, but this motherfucker, he fights for all of us. He fights for all of you. You feel me? That's a real fighter. And listen, man, I know all of you know, this guy's graced by God, man, blessed by God. Dodging bullets, dodging jail sentences, and then he gets up in everybody's face and says, what? Fight! 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 So what are we gonna do? So what are we gonna do? Now after me, we got some real computer-like mother effers coming up. We got Charlie Kirk and Vivek. So they don't give you all those details and all that good stuff and data. I'm just here to talk to you like you're a bunch of fighters and I'm your coach, man. We gotta, hey, listen to me. Because we're winning right now, doesn't mean we can take a round off. Because we're ahead in the race, doesn't mean we can take this last mile off. Because we're chilling, we can bring the pace down. We gotta go harder than ever now these last 2 weeks. We gotta, and what I mean, and we're gonna fight. And this type of fight, we don't need no guns, we don't need knives, none of that. All we need is our brain, our voices, and maybe these cell phones so we can spread the word. Alright? You gotta show up to the ballot box. 5 to 10 of your friends that are on the fence, you gotta get them to come up, show up. Somehow, someway, you gotta do it. After that TikTok, just get your friends on it, you know? Talk to everybody you know, send them the stat sheet, you know? We're up against some people that maybe don't play the fairest, man. I mean, I'll tell you what. The Democrats suck all across the policies. I think we could all agree here, right? There's not a fucking city that I want to live in this Democratic, man. It's just craziness, man. And no offense, because I love New York, I love California, but what they're doing is criminal. And then if there's not enough crime in there, they'll import the crime, right? So, we could agree on one thing. Democratic policies suck. They're hypocrites, they're liars, they're gaslighting all the time. But I'll tell you one thing they're really good at, probably the best in the world. They're really good at voting, right? They're so good at voting that you don't even need to be a citizen. In some cases, wait, hold up. In some cases, even be alive, right? You feel me? So, what do we need to do? No, but it's not just enough to vote. Just go get 5, 10 the people that are on the fence, because all of us here, we know what we're doing. We gotta go out there and fight, man. Let our voice be heard. Tell everybody. I don't really like talking like this, but here I am, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we gotta spread the word, right? And we're fighting pure evil because we saw it. Somebody said Jesus Christ is King. What did Kamala do? You're at the wrong assembly, right? So all my Christian people, all my religious people, we need to come strong, man. We can't be blaming fingers. A lot of religious leaders saying, I'm saying that in this race, I'm not voting for anybody because, you know, so-and-so this and so-and-so that. Listen, there's only one person who was perfect. We all know who that is, and that's Jesus Christ. and Jesus is not in the valley. But you know what? Donald Trump, a firm believer, a fighter for Jesus Christ, is in the valley, and not just for the Christians, but for the Muslims, the Buddhists, anybody that wants to be able to pray in peace. Let's go. Trump is the only way. So what are we gonna do November 5th? Where we going? Where we going? Huh? Where we going? Fight! Let's go. Fight! 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 Let's go. God bless all of you.
Please welcome Vivek Ramaswamy.
Let's bring this thing home in 12 days, guys. We don't have a lot of time. And we're about to do this. This isn't going to be small. This is an opportunity for a historic landslide that actually unites this country. I'm listening to the old man, Joe Biden, the other day. What's he saying? Lock him up. I think, and they wanted the Democrats to think he was talking about Donald Trump, but he was really talking about Barack Obama for getting him off the top of the stage. These people, I hope they learned their lesson, you know? You do it this badly. On November 6th, I hope they wake up and realize that identity politics never works in America. When you select somebody for their race and gender, it always ends up being a disaster. And I'm actually talking about Tim Walz this time. It goes both ways. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis. I've said that since day one. We need a commander-in-chief who's going to lead us back to who we are. Faith in God, patriotism, hard work, family. These things have disappeared only to be replaced by these new religions of wokeism or transgenderism or climatism or COVIDism. Depression, anxiety, fentanyl, suicide, you name it. We are hungry for what it means to be an American. What does it mean to be a citizen of this nation in the year 2024? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. It means we believe in merit. That the best person gets the job regardless of their skin color. That you get ahead in the United States, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. That's why we're done with the DEI regimes, the quota regimes. That's what Donald Trump's bringing to the White House. It means we believe in the rule of law. And I say this like many of you in the audience. I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law. And that is why if we've had the largest influx of illegal aliens into this country in American history, we will have the largest mass deportation in American history. That is not racist. That is not xenophobic. That is what it means to stand for the rule of law in the United States of America. It means the people we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government. Not the shadow government of the deep state and three-letter agencies that's running the show today. So you want to talk about mass deportations? Yeah, we'll talk about the millions of illegals out of this country. But the second mass deportation we really need is millions of unelected federal bureaucrats out of the D.C. bureaucracy. These aren't black ideas or white ideas. They're American ideals that we want a revolution to secure in this country. We are in a war to revive them. And right now, more than ever, we need the commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory in that war. And that man is your 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, who we are sending back to the White House. If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump. If you want to grow the economy in this country, vote Trump. If you want to keep us out of World War III in this country, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to revive our national identity in America, vote Trump. And if you want to make America great again, vote Trump. This man will be the one who actually unites our country. We don't have to be this nation in decline that we've become. We're not at the end of the ancient Roman Empire. We don't have to be. We still can be a nation in our ascent, but we're going to have to wake up and make it so. It's not happening automatically. We're counting on you to do it. Nevada, get out there. I got 3 words for you. Vote, vote, vote. To you real straight, I don't like early voting. I don't. I'm not a fan of it. I think in this country we need single-day voting on Election Day as a national holiday with paper ballots, government-issued ID to match the voter file, and English as the only language that appears on a ballot. That's what I think we need in this country. All right? But in order to get there, we got to actually win the election. You have to be able to win by the rules we have in order to change them to what they should be. So this one time, I don't love it, but this one time, do what we need to do to win. Vote early, play by the same rules as the other side. We play to win this time. We're not messing around. We're not going to be victims. We are going to be victorious. That's what our founding fathers did. That's what we're about to do in 2024. You see, 2024 is our 1776. I'll tell you a story. Story about the Democrat-led media that called him a traitor. They called him a dictator. They said that he would make us an embarrassment on the world stage until a man took a gun and put a bullet in his body. And I'm actually talking about Abraham Lincoln. It's actually true. The first Republican president, it was the Democrat-led media that said those things about him 160 years ago, and yet here we are now. I truly believe Donald Trump is the George Washington of our moment. It is our 1776 in this country. They shot him while he was crossing the Delaware too. Didn't work with George Washington just like it didn't for Donald Trump. But this is our last chance as a country, especially my generation. I'm 37 years old. I was the youngest, I'm 39 now. I was 37 when I ran for U.S. president as the youngest person ever to run for president as a Republican. And I'll tell you what's going on with our generation, right? We're lost. We're hungry for a cause. We're hungry for purpose and meaning and identity at a time in our history where we've lost the things that used to ground us. All right, so the left will feed us their poison of race, gender, sexuality, and climate. And on November 6th, when we wake up to run to our own vision. Individual, family, nation, and God. Each race, gender, sexuality, and climate. If we have the courage to stand for our own vision. We're not just running from something, we are running to something. So this year when we deliver, and I'm going to use the L word, deliver a landslide, I hope, God willing, on November 5th. Then we wake up on November 6th to a new country. November 5th is not the destination, it is the start line. It is the start line for the revival of our country. If we don't get this before my kids are in high school, my older son's 4 years old. I was with him this morning before being with President Trump in Phoenix, and we came here. I'm going to be back with him tonight. If he's in high school before we get this right,
You're exactly right,
I don't think we have a country yet. That's the time horizon we're working with. But this is our chance to do it. Donald Trump's going to do his part. I promise you that. Every one of the other people on the stage, they're going to do their part. But I am now asking you to do yours. To make a sacrifice for our country in our hour of need, just like our founding fathers did. There were 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence. I don't know what happened to them. We don't often ask. 12 of them had their homes ransacked and burned to the ground by the British. 5 of them were captured by the British and tortured until their deaths. 9 of them died in the American Revolution. 3 more of them had their own kids die in the American Revolution. They didn't do it for them. They did it for us so we could be here 250 years later enjoying the blessings of liberty in the greatest nation known to the history of mankind. And I refuse to be the generation that squanders it. We've been taught to celebrate our diversity and our differences for so long that we forgot all of the ways we are the same as Americans, bound by that common set of ideals. It is up to us to revive them. So 2024 is our 1776. We're going to fight for it. So we will look our kids in the eye and mean it when we tell them, you get ahead in the United States of America with your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication. And that you know what, you are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what we are running to. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War and World War I and World War II and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, and certainly not Kamala Harris or Tim Walz is going to defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about, and that is what we will revive to save this great nation. Thank you all and your families. May God bless you and our United States of America. Do not stop. Let's get this done. Thank you.
That guy's electric. Vivek, isn't he electric? That guy's awesome. Huh? All right, it's great to be here in Nevada. Great to be back. Did you guys, how many of you are from Nevada? Most of you, right? Notice I said Nevada, not Nevada. I lived here. I grew up here. When I was 7 years old, we moved here. People said, why'd you guys move all the way over there? I said, simple. They had jobs for people like my parents. And we lived here. There was not, when I lived here, probably like 1980 to 1985, it was not the kid-friendliest place in America. It wasn't that much to do. You know? I mean, there was an ice skating rink in Henderson when nobody even knew where Henderson was. It was where the ice skating rink was. And I've just seen this place grow so dynamically. And now I got to tell you guys, you're at the center and at the heart of this election. You really are. I truly believe that how this state goes is how this election is going to go. And Vivek mentioned a moment ago, we were just with President Trump in Arizona, and Arizona had a message. They're like, they're going to do their part. Ask Nevada if they can do their part to save our country and make it great again. So they want to know if you're going to do your part. And every time that I come here, I'm reminded of my childhood, and I think that's important because I think about my parents for a moment. My parents were immigrants from Cuba. There's Cubans here? All right, be careful with the Cubans. Be careful with the Cubans. My parents were immigrants. They didn't really go to a lot of school in their own country. My dad was nothing more than he was a bartender at Sam's Town. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to start dating myself. My mom was a maid at the Imperial Palace. Huh? That's back when they used to have this thing. That was our family outing. We used to go see this thing called Legends in Concert, which was, so the old timers remember Legends in Concert. It was like a fake Elvis, and it was like either one week it was the fat Elvis, the other week it was the skinny Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, whatever. My point is, that's the jobs they had. And you know what my parents were able to do with those jobs? A bartender and a maid? They owned a home. We didn't get to go to a lot. I mean, we didn't have everything we wanted. We had everything we needed. And the most important thing my parents were able to achieve is they were able to leave all 4 of their children better off than themselves. If there weren't any taxes on tips, the way Donald Trump was going to do, maybe we would have had more than what we wanted. But anyway, parents achieved the American dream. They were never rich, they were never famous, they never owned more than one home. In fact, we never owned more than one car, primarily because my mom didn't like to drive, but they never owned more than one car. But they lived the American dream. They didn't leave us any money, they left us something even more important, and that is the chance to be anything we wanted to be. And that's possible because I was born a citizen of the greatest nation in the history of all mankind. And it's important to remember that. It's important to say that. You never hear that on the other side. Not enough. When the other side talks about the greatness of America, it always comes with an asterisk. Yeah, we're the greatest country in the world, but... and they'll fill in something we don't do right or something we did wrong 200 years ago or 150 years ago. Guys, I've never claimed that America's history is perfect, by the way. I've only claimed that our history is better than anybody else's history by far. We are a nation of progress and of opportunity, a nation that has changed the world and inspired the people of the world. But it's in trouble. You know it's in trouble. We know it's in trouble. It is a nation whose borders are not secure. We're not secure. This is not immigration. What's happening on our border, that's not immigration. That is mass migration. That is a total breakdown, total chaos, and it's by design. And that needs to stop. That is the choice in this election. Between a president, Donald J. Trump, who gave us the most secure border in modern history, and Kamala Harris, who as Vice President of the United States was the border czar and has allowed this country to be overrun by millions and millions of people from all over the world. My parents were able to achieve the American dream like so many of you, because when I grew up, bacon didn't cost $150 or whatever the crazy price is now. And that's the choice in this election. Between a man, when he was president, we had an economy where prices were stable, salaries were going up, and people could afford to have a little bit of money left over at the end of the month, against Kamala Harris, who has presided over runaway inflation, an unaffordable economy, a stale and stagnant job market. No matter what they tell you, your paychecks are not keeping pace with prices. They destroyed our economy and set us back. It's a choice. It's a choice between a president who had us on the road and had us right there at the precipice of complete and total energy independence. We don't have to worry about any other country in the world. We can fuel our economy because God has blessed us with those resources, and we were doing that under Donald Trump. And a vice president who wants to keep us from using our natural resources, and wants to force everyone to have to drive an electric car. And I like the guy who makes a lot of the electric cars, by the way. I'm not anti-electric car. I'm not anti-electric car. I've always called them golf carts, but I'm not against anti-electric car. I'm not banning them. But you can't run a modern economy on electric cars and solar panels. You just can't. You can't do it. And we have an opportunity to generate our own energy, and it's clean, and it's American. That's the choice. So what do you do? What do you do if you know you can't run on your record? And Kamala Harris can't run on a record. She was asked the other day, what would you do different than Joe Biden? I can't think of anything. And this is on The View, so it was like in the morning, 8 people were watching, and so she wasn't tired. And she couldn't think of a single thing she would have done different. That tells you everything you need to know. We can't afford another. If we have another 4 years like the last 4 years, you won't recognize your country. You won't. A president, Biden-Harris administration that had us humiliated in Afghanistan. Absolutely humiliated. In fact, it's not a coincidence that after Afghanistan happened, Ukraine happened, October 7th happened, all the stuff China's doing against the Philippines happened, and maybe Taiwan soon enough happened. Because they said, this guy's weak, Joe Biden, and America's weak because he's weak, and we can get away with it. That wasn't happening under Donald Trump. Under Donald Trump, the head of the number one terrorist in the world that worked for Iran, Soleimani, he died. ISIS wiped out. No wars were started. Ukraine wasn't invaded. Israel wasn't invaded.
The world is safe. And by the way, that guy in North Korea, he stopped launching missiles. That's the strength we need in our country. Again, that's what this election is about. Saving our country, restoring our country, so your children, your grandchildren can inherit what we inherited, the greatest country in the history of the world. This election is about saving America, and there's only one way to save America. We have to win in Nevada. We have to win that Senate seat with Sam Brown. You got to come out and vote for him. He needs your support as well. And you need to do a huge service for your country. You need to make sure that everyone you know turns out and votes, so that in about, 12 days now, less than 12 days, we will once again have a president, Donald J. Trump, running this country, saving this country, and making what it was, a great country. Thank you, and God bless.
leaving the country if Donald Trump is elected. I will not be leaving the country if someone I don't like is installed in power. I plan on staying here and fighting it out. That's what patriots do. That's what the people who truly love Americans do. And those celebrities who threaten to leave will leave anyway once they've installed a government that seeks to destroy us. 70 years ago, both my grandfathers made their path and built incredible companies, starting from the ground up. One right here in Las Vegas and one in Reno, Nevada. I have two of the best examples of what a truly great leader is and how important it is. My Papa Jack was quoted saying, "Lead men by going the extra mile on yourself." I'm an actress who got my start professional fighting right here in your mixed martial arts gyms in Las Vegas. I'd rather be being punched in the face than giving a speech right now. But I'm doing this for America. I'm doing this because this election is so important. It's so valuable. I didn't actually start voting until I was 2020, and I realized that, my gosh, there's such a prejudice here. I was voting for who I thought was the best candidate, and that was Donald Trump, and that still is Donald Trump. I was targeted, discriminated against, shamed and fired from one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world. They fired me at the height of my career, and I went out to, I know, Disney. They deserve that. Thank you. Thank you. You guys have been paying attention to my story. I appreciate that. I mean, they've gone out of the way to make an example out of me, but I think by the grace of God, He's helping me make an example out of them. I'm currently suing Disney with Elon Musk's and X's backing. I have never even spoken to Mr. Musk, but this kindness he has done me and many others, I feel is something you only see in the movies. I am so grateful to him and the X platform. Without X, we truly would not know the truth of what is happening around the world, and would have to rely on the corrupt media. The corrupt media, Donald Trump bent over his knee and broke their back, exposing them for who they truly work for. Worldwide, they are targeting Elon Musk and X to silence and control him over freedom of speech. That's something we pay our American governments to do. Why would a government who is busy manipulating the system and filling their pockets ever respond to the people's voice, which the people's voice has become the Republican Party? The Democrats have suffered no accountability. I will tell you my personal belief. A vote for Kamala Harris is no other than a vote for a shadow government and greedy corporations who will walk over our dead bodies and turn around and use those bodies to keep themselves in power. Just look at the 325,000 children who have gone missing. Maybe we should be keeping that body count on the news. I want to tell you, Las Vegas and Nevada, I respect you so much because I lived here. I bartended at the Wynn. I know that you're a 24-hour city. If people don't know when they're not from Nevada, they think, oh, are there schools there? And there's families here, there's patriotic families here who are the best at what they do. They're the best chefs, they're the best salespeople, they're the best real estate people, they're the best performers. Nevada, you're going to show up, and you already have showed up. we need to continue that on. We need, because we all saw, and we can all see what can happen on election night. We need to make sure that we put the pressure on, we do not let up, and we make this an overwhelming majority vote for Donald Trump. I'd like to just share a couple quotes that I think are pretty, I don't know, things that I like. I'm skipping a couple pages here because I know that I think Trump's ready to come on. There's this quote that I think is very appropriate for what a lot of us in the room stand for. And I think it's from the Mr. Robot series, so let me read it for you. Some people are just born to fight, I think. It's not that they're born brave, it's not that they're born strong. It's just that the universe has decided that this one will have grit and fire and steel in their blood. And it'll be tested, this cosmic metal of theirs. They'll face trial after trial, be broken and damaged in countless ways, but this one was born to fight. Maybe it's not the life they would have chosen. Maybe they'd love to lay down their arms, but they were born to fight. It's what they know. It's what they do best. It's all they can do. I want to encourage you to never give up. Cast your vote. This is our first and most important step towards saving America. It is the healthiest act. It is the right thing to do, so we do not look back and say we didn't go through the motions of the best possible outcome. Don't get cocky. We've seen how easily votes can change in the middle of election night. Make this election overwhelmingly obvious. I truly hope this is the start of a great awakening and not a world where the puppeteers say, by 2030 you will own nothing and be happy. I'll leave you with a Bible verse that is much easier said than done, but I pray for the strength for us and for me to uphold it. Then I heard the voice of the Lord saying, "Whom shall I send, and who will go for us?" And I said, "Here am I, send me."
Let's hear it for Charlie Kirk.
How we doing, Nevada? We are just 12 days away, everybody, from taking back this country, and it starts in Las Vegas, everybody. We are living through something historic right now. Tonight, you're about to hear from someone who ran for the presidency as a Democrat, the former co-chair of the DNC, Tulsi Gabbard. Can we give it up for Tulsi Gabbard? Is she not doing a great job? And before I hand it off to her, I just want to say, every single day here in Nevada is going to count. When you guys vote and vote early, you are sending a message to the rest of the country. Do you guys see these early voting numbers out of Clark County? The Democrats don't know what's going on. By the way, who's voted already? Raise your hand if you voted already. But guess what? Your job's not over. Now go find 5 more people in the 12 days remaining and bring them to the polls. Go find 10 more people and bring them to the polls. We outnumber them. Our movement is bigger than ever. And it is an honor to host this tonight and to celebrate a woman that I believe is the best of America. She has served this country. She is a defector from the Democrat Party, as I like to say. They get Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. We get Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard. Do the work. Chase ballots. Join me in welcoming Tulsi Gabbard, everybody.
and an amazing feeling to be here to join all of you on this special night. We have people here from all different backgrounds, different races, ethnicities, places we grew up, experiences that we had, all of us coming together, united by our love of this great country. We are united by our love for each other as fellow Americans. We see each other as children of God and recognize that as we come together, we may disagree on some things, but we appreciate our fundamental God-given rights and freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution and Bill of Rights. This is why we stand here together tonight, 12 days before the most historic and important election of our lives, united for change. There is a very clear choice in this election. I am doing all that I can to help elect President Trump because there is nothing short of our freedom and our future on the line. We've seen some of the most egregious and brazen abuses of power coming from the Harris-Biden administration than we've ever seen in our country, certainly in my lifetime. To see a person in Kamala Harris who is telling the American people that she believes in free speech, that her campaign is about freedom, and yet fundamentally she does not believe in our right to free speech. She doesn't believe in our right to gather in places like this and express ourselves. She doesn't believe in our right that is fundamental to the First Amendment to criticize our own government. We saw just recently in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene's disaster wreaked on the people of Western North Carolina and 5 other states. Those of us had some things to say on behalf of our fellow Americans about how they have been failed by our government during their most dire time of need. And if you listen to the White House, if you listen to Joe Biden, and you listen to Kamala Harris, they criticized us and called us dangerous for spreading misinformation. That is what is at the core of what I view as the dangerous threat to our freedom and our democracy, because it's in dictatorships and authoritarian governments where those in power view those who criticize them as dangerous. There is no one they have targeted more than President Donald J. Trump. And there's a reason for that. Because they recognize that he doesn't bend the knee or kiss the ring in the establishment of Washington, D.C. They recognize that he brings the voices of the people of this country who are frustrated and sick and tired of being forgotten and left behind by those in power. They recognize that President Trump is the only Republican who has had the courage to stand up to the uniparty of war in Washington and state over and over his commitment for peace. This is why they're throwing everything they possibly can at him and why they see him as the greatest threat. We see how they try to silence and censor those of us who dare to criticize them, saying that we are spreading misinformation or disinformation and therefore must be censored. How can we trust a person to uphold her oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States who does not believe in the First Amendment? We can't. Exactly. How can we trust a person to uphold her oath to the Constitution who doesn't believe in the Second Amendment and our right to protect our loved ones? How do we trust someone in the presidency to uphold the rule of law when over the last 4 years Kamala Harris has allowed open borders and 20 million plus people in who their very first act was to break our laws? We cannot allow ourselves or our friends to fall for the lies and the propaganda. She's working hand in glove with the mainstream media and big tech, doing all that they can to erase the past and try to make us believe that this new picture is somehow true. They're so afraid, and they're doing all of this because they see that a free people in a free country are the greatest threat to their power. That's us. We must be vigilant. We the people is a call to action. We need to save our country, and President Trump needs every one of us to stand with him in making that possible. This is a no-fail mission we have before us. Yes, your vote is critical, but you gotta bring 10 people with you to make sure that our voices are heard in the swamps of Washington and that Donald Trump goes back to the White House to make America great again and start to clean that house. Now, President Trump said something last night when we were in Georgia that really struck a chord with me. He told the people there in Georgia that what he has built and what he is leading is a movement of love. Love for our country, love for our freedom, love for the American people, and the promise of getting us back towards a path of peace, freedom, and prosperity. This is why I'm supporting President Trump, and this is why we need to send him back to the White House. So I want you to join me right now, sharing all of the aloha that is in your heart, and welcome the 47th President to the United States here on stage right now.
Cheers, we love you. This incredible state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots is great. It's great. And I'd like to begin by asking a very simple question. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? I don't think so. What do you think? No way. No, you were much better off 4 years ago, 5 years, 6 years ago, and 7 years ago, and 8 years ago. This is terrible what's happening to our country. This is terrible. We have people that are grossly incompetent. We have the worst president in the history of the United States. We have the worst vice president in the history of the United States. And unlike us here tonight, we have an intelligent group of people. You have a man that doesn't need teleprompters. Isn't that nice? In Georgia tonight, they say that Kamala has just absolutely bombed. It's the big story. In fact, I was going to watch it. I didn't want to come out. I wanted to watch that first. Isn't that terrible? Then I could explain to you what happened, but I hear it was bad tonight. But it's always bad. It's always bad. But I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, we will end inflation. We, all of us together, we will stop the invasion. And we will bring back the American dream, something you haven't heard about for about 4 years. Think about it. 4 years ago, we had no inflation. We were energy independent. We were strong as hell. Nobody was playing games with us. Nobody was threatening us. The Middle East wasn't fighting. Russia wasn't going into Ukraine. They never would have done. What a shame. What a mess we are in the world. The whole world is in a mess. And nuclear war with incompetent people looms. Don't kid yourself. We've never been so close. Our country is being crippled and destroyed by Kamala Harris and Biden. But he's like not even the president. What's going on with this guy? You know, we're supposed to be talking about the president. We're talking about the vice president who got no votes. Whether you like him or not, I'm not a big fan, as you probably know. But you know, we had a debate. He didn't do particularly well. I wouldn't say it was the greatest. It was not Winston Churchill, do we admit? The late, great Winston Churchill, who was a great debater. This was not, but he didn't do well. But he went down, and they should have let him. I mean, he got 14 million votes. She got no votes. And now she's imploding worse than him. She's actually imploding, if you take a look. Because, look, I'm not supposed to say it, but we are leading by so much. Now we're leading by a lot in Nevada. We're leading by a lot in Arizona, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Even states that are typically never in play for 50, 60, 70 years. Their team of getting goes, sir, New Hampshire is in play. I said, oh, that's nice. Let's make a trip. Let's make a trip. But the fact is that states, other states too, big states, are all in play. And they like us, but you know what? They think she is grossly incompetent, let's face it. She's not doing well. We can't have her as president. Can't have. We've had that for 4 years. We're not going to go another 4 years. She broke it, and I promise you I will fix it, and we'll fix it. With your support on November 5th, America will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than ever before. This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of incompetence, failure, and disaster, or whether we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. We can do that. It's not too late. It's not too late. couple of years like this, it will be too late. You'll never put it together again. After all the catastrophes that she has caused, Kamala Harris can't say one thing that she'd do differently. Did you see that the other day? Would you name one thing? How about 20? Would you name like 25, 30? But I'm asking you to be excited about the future of our country again. You're going to be excited. Because this will be America's new golden age. It's going to be the golden age of America. You watch, and we're off to a little bit of a bad start because we're starting around the minus 30-yard line. But we'll catch up fast. We'll clean up our country. We'll get the criminals the hell out of here. Every problem facing us can be solved, but now the fate of our nation is in your hands because we can't go any longer. We're taking it right up to the edge. Nevada, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've had enough. You can't take it anymore. She's the worst vice president. She's grossly incompetent. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. Fired. Get out. Get the hell out of here. We gotta fix our country. We gotta fix up our country. It's a nation in decline, Kamala. Get the hell out of here. The polls are open for early voting in Nevada every day from now to November 1st. So get your husband, Hank, get the hell out of the couch. Get that big fat ass of you. We're gonna go and vote for the president. We're gonna turn our country around, man. Come on, let's go. Right? So we're gonna vote Republican up and down the ballot. We're gonna do a real job. With your help, 12 days from now, 12 days. We've been waiting for 4 years. Now think of it, we did great in 2016. I hate to tell you, we did much better. Like millions and millions of votes better. But you know what, now, what we do is going to be bigger. This will be the biggest political event in the history of our country. 12 days from now, we are going to win Nevada, we are going to defeat Kamala Harris, and we are going to make America great again. Right? It's like a pent-up, isn't it? It's like pent-up spirit. It's like a boiler waiting to explode. You've been waiting for this. Get out and vote. We can't take any chances. Got to get out and vote. That's why they say, don't say how well we're doing, sir. Please, we got to get everything. If you say how well, they'll say, oh, we don't have to vote. The president, and then they throw a couple more votes in there. But no, we can't let that happen. We have to get out and vote. If Kamala gets 4 more years, she will obliterate our economy, kill millions of jobs, kill thousands of people too, by the way, and destroy your family finances, probably forever. Kamala's inflation has already cost a typical family over $30,000 in higher prices. They all talk, everybody I speak to, they talk about groceries. You know, such a basic term, groceries. The groceries, they mean every single item of grocery because your foods have gone up 50, 60, 70%, much more than the fake news tells you. Look at that. Oh, that's a lot of fake news. Man, that is to because those ratings. Ultimately, it's ratings first for them. Country about fifth. I say country is about fifth. We have Marco Rubio. We have everybody. Marco. We have Marco. We went to a Latino restaurant. They showed Marco. They went crazy. And now she wants to raise taxes on the typical Las Vegas family by an average of $5,000 a year. The only one I've ever known campaigning and raising taxes. Take a look at the video, please.
Joe Biden are about to get rid of that tax bill, calling for a bold repeal of President Trump's tax cuts. If Kamala Harris was elected president, there are many of her tax policies which could cripple the economy. But the first thing she wants to do is
think of it, she wants to tax, think of what this means, she wants to tax unrealized gains. In other words, you don't know if you have a gain or not. Like Danica over here, she makes a fortune, she makes so much money. I wonder if she would mind paying unrealized, because someday you may have a gain, let's tax it. I don't know. Danica Patrick Green. I've been a fan of yours so long. So talented. And so beautiful, but I'm not allowed to say that as a politician, so I will withdraw that statement. You know, today if you say somebody's beautiful, it's the end of your political career. I don't think so. Thank you very much, Dan. But this is the only woman or man, this is the only person I've ever seen that's campaigning on tax hikes. It's going to raise your taxes maybe 70%, maybe 80%. All my life I grew up in this stuff and I'd watch the politicians and we will cut your taxes. I say it because it's true. I'm going to cut your taxes. I gave you the biggest tax cut in the history of our country and the biggest regulation cuts in the history. And we're going to cut them further. It's more like a good politician, but it's also somebody that knows how it has to work. We need that. People don't have the money. We're going to get your interest rates down too, by the way. Kamala also launched a war on tip workers and service workers here in Nevada, increasing the so-called tip. You know, she wants this. When I said no tax on tips, remember? A month later she comes out and we will have no tax on tips. She never said that. And she's never said it again. You're not going to get it. We're going to have no tax on tips. She wanted to increase and did increase the so-called tip allocation tax rate by 60%. She raised your tax, and then she's supposed to say no tax on tips. In other words, even after Kamala wrecked your economy with inflation, she came after you with tip income, sort of like a vulture would do. If she gets 4 more years, Kamala Harris will pick your pocket spare. By contrast, I will massively cut taxes for workers, and in particular, we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits. All three are very good for this one. Which is the most? Let's do a poll, free poll. I won't have to pay $700,000. Which do you like more? Ready? We'll go tips, overtime, Social Security. Which is the way? Which is the, because you guys, I mean, you sort of have them in this state, you have them all. Tips is great, but overtime is great too. Ready? Vote for one. You can only, let's assume you can only have one, which you can't. You're going to get all three. What do you like best? Free poll for Trump. No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. Okay. No tax on Social Security. We're going to build an economy that lifts up all Americans, including African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and also members of our great Asian American and Pacific Islander community, many of whom are here today, especially so many amazing Nevada Filipinos, right? I have to be honest with what happened. I came in and I saw so many people. I said, where the hell? They had the most beautiful, they had the most beautiful clothing, such bright colors. I said, where the hell do all these people come from? And when they told me, that's why I put that little paragraph in there. I said, it's great. You are the greatest people, hardworking people, and we're going to take care of you. You're going to take care of us. Oh, you're great. What spirit, what great spirit. It's an honor to have you here. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Beautiful clothing, the colors. I want to wear colors like that. How would it be if I walked into the Oval Office with some of those colors I saw? I don't know. Maybe. I don't think, for me, I don't think it works. But we're pleased to be joined by an incredible leader from the Asian American Congresswoman and Democratic presidential candidate, and you just heard her, and she is great, and she is so popular. You know, I always say she's a woman of common sense. I've watched her for a long time. Of course, not that long because she's quite young, but I've watched her for a long time, and I've always loved her saying she doesn't want to go to war with countries that nobody ever heard of, that don't want war. Tulsi Gabbard, she's great. Thank you. Great job. Great job. And we have, don't forget, Bobby Kennedy is going to straighten out our health. He's going to straighten out our health and all of that stuff. And I don't know if we're going to have him working too much on the environment. I'm a little concerned about that with Bobby. I don't know. I want him playing around with our liquid gold under our feet, you know. Bobby, work on health. He's great. Because, you know, I like the liquid gold, I think, more than his oil and gas. I think I like that a little bit more than Bob. But he'll have an impact. Now, he's so popular. We introduced him last night. Place went crazy. Went crazy with Tulsa, too. And Tucker Carlson was here last night. He was great. We had a great time last night, but we had about 20,000. Today we have 29,000 people, and we have 29,000 outside. If anybody would like to give up your seat, please raise your hand. We have a big number of people outside. It's a great honor. You know what? This is the greatest political movement in the history of our country, probably in the history of the world. It's called MAGA. It's called Make America Great Again. It's very simple. When Sleepy Joe Biden, remember a year ago he was with the pink wall and it looked like the devil and he was saying, we will stop MAGA, we will stop. He didn't know what the hell it was. We will stop MAGA. And we sent him a note. MAGA means make America great again. We will stop making America great again. It's crazy. These people are crazy. To further defeat inflation and bring back our economy, I will terminate Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate. And we will immediately end one of the greatest scams in the history of our country. Designed by a person that never even studied anything about the environment. AOC plus 3. No AOC. Did you ever take a course on the environment? No, I didn't. But she said the planet will be dead within 12 years. We gotta be careful. We gotta be careful. You know why we gotta be careful? Because with the environment, don't worry, it's gonna be just fine. If we don't have smart people in the White House, it'll be dead for another reason, nuclear weapons, and we can't let that happen. We can't let that happen. Because I know the power, we built our entire military, I know the power of the nuclear, and we're not gonna let that happen. We're not gonna let stupid people negotiate for us. And the mandate, the electric, and by the way, electric cars are great. Elon Musk endorsed us, he endorsed us, gave us the great. You know where he is right now? He's in Pennsylvania campaigning because he thinks this is the most important election in the history of our country. And they are great, they're great, but for a certain group of people. But we want to have gasoline-propelled cars. We want to have hybrids, which are good. Hybrids are good, combination of both. We want to have everything. Hydrogen, I don't know about it. I think Danica would know about hydrogen. Hydrogen cars, Danica, they say they're really good, except there's one problem. When there's a mishap, when it explodes a little bit, they cannot even recognize you. So we never want to do that. That's too much. Hydrogen cars, I think we'll take a pass on hydrogen. Sir, your wife was in a little accident. Oh, what kind of a car? Hydrogen. Where is she? We don't know. She's gone, sir. She's gone. Oh, my wife. I want to see my wife again. Hydrogen. No, I think we'll pass. They said they've gotten it much better. That's not good enough. But we will quickly become energy independent again. We were energy independent. And we will frack, and drill, baby, drill. Right? And I'm going to cut your energy bill in half within 12 months. 50%, you're going to have it down. And the reason we can do it is we got that liquid gold. We don't know what to do with it. We have so much. We don't use it. And you know what? When that comes down, because that's what led it up, that and their stupid spending, but the energy is what led it up. They're paying a fortune for energy. We have it under the ground. We're going to use our energy. Your energy bills from January 20th, when we take office, will be down 50% within 12 months of everything else. To make housing more affordable, we will open up portions of federal land, which is what you wanted here so badly. And your governor's doing a good job, by the way. We thank him very much. Joe Lamar. Doing a very good job. For large-scale housing construction in those zones, we'll have ultra-low taxes and low regulations to help bring back jobs and factories from foreign lands. We have our jobs going to foreign land. But I killed the big auto plant in Mexico, right? You know that. They were building the biggest auto plant in the world. You know what happened? They said, if you build it, you're going to pay a 200% tariff, meaning you're not going to be able to sell any cars into the United States. And by doing that, I saved Michigan. I helped South Carolina a lot, but I saved Detroit because they've been decimated so badly over the years, over the decades. They've been devastated. We're going to bring the auto industry back into our country through smart taxation and tariffs and incentives. And we're going to have every car company that wants to sell cars in this country, they're going to be making them in our country. And remember, the interest rate deduction, you buy a car, the interest rate deduction that I am going to get you is only going to pertain if the car is made in America. If it's made someplace else, got to be made in America. I mean, how smart is that? How simple is that? I probably just tripled their production in Detroit. And by the way, we're leading in Michigan by a lot. We're leading in Wisconsin by a lot. We're leading in Pennsylvania by a lot. But I'm not supposed to say that. Just pretend it's close. Everybody has to. No, they're afraid that if you hear that, they're not going to vote. I said, well, it's a double-edged sword. You know, if we're leading by a lot, they won't think about cheating as much as if we're just leading by a little bit, because we got to stop. We got to make these elections honorable and honest, and we're going to do it. Starting in January, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burdens, and free access to the best and biggest market anywhere on the planet, but only if they make their products here in America and hire American workers. Otherwise, they pay just like everybody else. And I say the most beautiful word in the entire dictionary of words is the word tariff. I love tariff. I can make anybody do anything through the use of tariffs. I can keep people out of war. I can keep us out of war. The word tariff is the most beautiful. I think I'll do this just so I don't get myself in trouble. I'm going to say the third most beautiful. Love and religion. And then the word tariff. Then the word. I better do that, right, Vivek? I think I better say love is the most and religion is the number 1, 2. You can switch them back and forth any way you want. This way I've just protected myself. But the third most beautiful word is the word tariff. You know, it really did. Tariffs needed a press agent because all these crooked politicians, they didn't like it. You know, they're all taken care of by foreign countries. They don't like tariffs. But we're doing the tariffs, and we're going to, you know, I charge China. China was charged by me hundreds of billions of dollars over the last few years that we were in the administration. In fact, Biden hasn't been able to get rid of it because they make so much damn money they can't justify getting rid of it. He'd love to because they paid him a lot of money, China. They've given him a lot of money. He'd love to be able to reciprocate, right? But no, we took in hundreds of billions of dollars in China tariffs and other tariffs too. And you can make, we stand at wars. I've been, as an example, 2 countries fighting each other for like 1,000 years. They're always fighting back, and you probably know, I don't want to get involved, but you know the countries back and forth. And I got tired of it. I called them both. I said, here's the story. You guys have been fighting each other for thousands of years. Stop already. Are you ready to do it? 200% tariffs I'm going to put on each of your countries if you fight. And if you don't fight, you don't have the tariffs. But if you fight, now these are people that kill a lot of people. They kill each other for years and years and decades and centuries. I said, if you keep this up, I'm charging you 200% tariffs to do business in the United States. And I want to know immediately. Call me tomorrow. They call me up. Sir, we have decided not to go into war. I saved a lot of lives. And you know, it had nothing to do with me, but I'd rather see people And you know what, sadly, zero chance that Putin would have gone into Ukraine if I were president. Zero chance. What a shame that is. All of the death, and it's far greater than you hear about. When they knock down those buildings that are 3 blocks long and 20 stories high, and they say one person was slightly injured. The death in that whole thing is just crazy. And I'm going to work on that from the day, hopefully, the day that we win, which is November 5th, in the evening, on the evening of November 5th, I will call Putin, I will call Zelensky, I said, we got to stop it, I'm going to try and get it done as president-elect. As president-elect. That'll give me plenty of credibility. I don't have to wait till January 20th. I'm going to try and get it done sooner than that. It's horrible. The people that are being killed. And October 7th would have never happened with Israel. All those people would never have been killed. Iran was broke. They would not have been able to do it. They weren't giving money to Hezbollah. They weren't giving money to Hamas. They didn't have money. They didn't have money. And I was looking to help them. You know, we did a thing called the Abraham Accords. And anybody else would have been given the Nobel Prize. Me, they gave Obama the Nobel Prize. He didn't even know why the hell he got it, right? He still doesn't. He got elected and they announced he's getting the Nobel Prize. I got elected in a much bigger, better, crazier election. But they gave him the Nobel Prize. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nobel Prize will be won by Barack Hussein Obama. Right? Barack Hussein Obama got the Nobel Prize. He didn't even know why. He actually asked, why did I get it? Does anybody know? Right at the beginning. The early seconds of his administration. And he didn't do a good job either. He brought a lot of division and a lot of hatred. And if these companies don't make their products here, then they will pay a tariff when they send their products into the United States for the privilege of competing with our workers and our cherished and now protected companies. We're going to protect these companies. They're going to come in by the thousands, and then we're going to protect them. Nobody's going to steal their product, their people, or their company. We're going to protect them through the intelligent use of tariffs. And as you probably heard, this big plant that everyone's talking about that's being built by China in Mexico right along the border, I said if they build that plant and if I win, I'm going to put a 200% tariff on every car and they're not going to be able to sell a car. And you know what happened? They announced last week they're not building the plant because of Trump. I saved Michigan, I saved the Trump. It was the biggest plant in the world, biggest auto plant in the world, and they announced they're not going to build now. They say, that guy's crazy. And we will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act if China or any other country, it's not just China, charges us a 100 or 200% tax or tariff, then we will charge them an identical 100 or 200% tax or tariff. He's just going to, they charge us, we charge them. You know what's going to happen? They're not going to charge us. Very simple. It's called an eye for an eye. I will never apologize for defending America. I will protect our workers. I will protect our jobs. I will protect our work. I will protect our families. And I will protect the birthright of our children to live in the richest and most powerful nation on the face of the earth. And we're rapidly losing that time. Under Kamala's economy, millions of Americans are suffering because of inflation. And those seniors that are going to get that beautiful gift, the one of free on Social Security, they've been hurt so badly because most seniors, well, I'm a senior. Can you believe it? I'm a senior. They'll say, he has a conflict of interest by proposing that. Oh, they'll say anything. I had a conflict of interest. I'm a senior and I'm proposing some great benefit to the seniors. He's giving it to what? He'll come up with something, those people. But the seniors have been hurt so bad by inflation that they are entitled to what we're getting them in terms of a tax reduction and in terms of getting them some extra, because they were devastated You know, if you look at inflation, I think it's up 60, 70. They like to say it's 22, 23. It's not. They don't include the bad ones. But it's way up, and they're in a fixed income. They're entitled to what we're going to get them on Social Security. They really are. But I'm still amazed that they won. I've never done that with, that they won my little poll. That little poll, those seniors never lose. They just know how to win. But we're losing our jobs, and they can't afford housing or groceries or a car, and yet Kamala is importing millions and millions of illegals across our borders, letting them come in, open borders. They come in, we have no idea who they are, where they come from. They come from parts unknown. They come from parts unknown, giving them taxpayer benefits at your expense. They say, come to America, we'll give you health care. Try going into a hospital now. Try going into a hospital. Go to Springfield, Ohio. Try getting into the hospital. They have this beautiful community of 52,000 people. And they just sent 30,000 people into Springfield, Ohio that don't speak English. You used to be sick, you'd go into a hospital. Now you're sick and they say, we can't take you. Every hospital is packed, every school is packed. The schools are packed with students that don't even speak English. You know what they're looking for now? Interpreters, hundreds of interpreters. Can you believe it? Because the mayor is a very nice man and he wants to help. And instead of saying, I'm sorry, you cannot be here, you have to go back where you came from, you have to, he said, we want to get interpreters. He's trying to be nice. That's not the way to be. And then you look at Aurora in California. Take a look at Aurora in Colorado, where people have better guns, more advanced than most militaries. They're called Supreme guns. They're Supreme. They're the Supreme version. They come out of Venezuela or in other countries and they take over real estate by gunpoint. In other words, like me, they're in the real estate business, isn't that? But they don't borrow money to do it. They don't put up their own money. They just walk in and start collecting the rents. It's out of control. The governor is petrified. He's petrified. He's a radical left Democrat. And I'll tell you, Colorado's so angry because even Democrats leading, think of that now. I'm leading everybody, Democrat, Republican, and that guy tried to take me off the ballot. We're going to win the state of Colorado. We got to win Colorado just to send a message. So Colorado, if you're watching, let's send a message back home. We cannot play with our Constitution. You're witnessing the economic oppression of Americans to reward and enrich illegal aliens. But all that stops 2 weeks from now. Think of it, 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. For 4 straight years, Kamala Harris has imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from prisons and jails, insane asylums and mental institutions all over the world, from Venezuela to the Congo in Africa, and she's resettled them into a community near you. Isn't that right? And really did it, and they will prey on innocent Americans that have no idea what we're getting into. When we win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins. And one of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has allowed to come into our country through her stupid and ridiculous open borders policy is the savage Venezuelan prison gang. Isn't that nice? A bunch of guys got together in prison. It's named Tren de Aragua and is taking over all sorts of real estate and apartment complexes and unleashing a violent terrorist spree all over America, including Times Square in New York. Take a look.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis, record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America. It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang
they have every year since I've been involved in politics, every single year, but they're incredible people. But it wasn't the endorsement, it was what they said about her. They said she's the absolute worst thing that could happen to our country. And it's hard for them to say that. It's hard for them to say that. But they meant it. The United States is now an occupied country, but it will soon be an occupied country no longer. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. We're going to get them out and get them out. Under Kamala Harris, 13,099, and this comes right from Border Patrol. And they never did this before. They never gave out these numbers, but they did now because they see it as so serious. 13,099 illegal alien convicted murderers. These are people in penitentiaries, in jails, prisons, all over the world, are now on the loose in the United States of America. This summer, an illegal alien from El Salvador was arrested in West Virginia after going on a violent rampage in which he brutally beat a couple with a baseball bat so hard that the police said they've never seen anything like it. Repeatedly over and over again, then stabbed a man and then murdered a West Virginia mother of two and lit the body on fire in a field. Kamala Harris released him into custody even though he was convicted of murder and a convicted sex offender. And this is a violent person who hit again numerous times. And under her theory, it's just fine, he can do whatever he wants. No, we can't do this anymore. Would anybody, I just happen to have it, and this is, has anybody heard the snake before? Would you like to hear the snake? You sure? Is this a nice evening? We have not, is there any place better than being at a Trump rally, the biggest, the greatest movement? All right, we'll do the snake, yes? So this is a little play on words, not her kind of words, word salad. I don't like the term, but it's sort of true. It's terrible. I don't know what's going on in our minds. It's really, this is the snake, and this is really about illegal immigration and people that come into our countries that are murderers, killers, drug dealers, gang members, prisoners of the worst sort from all over the world. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty-colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in and I'll take care of you. Take me in, oh tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and soon as she arrived, she found the pretty snake she'd taken had been shook. Take me in, oh tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman, cried the vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. But if I hadn't brought you in by now, you truly would have died. She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed and held him tight. But instead of saying, thank you, ma'am, the snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, oh tender woman. Take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, oh tender woman, sighed the vicious snake. I saved you, cried the woman, and you bit me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die. Shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in. And that's what we're doing. That ended up perfectly. I could have done that 100 times and that wouldn't have happened. You know, that really is just what's happening now. We're letting people in from prisons and we're letting them in from mental institutions. It's the snake. It's going to bite us like nobody's ever been bitten before. You know, in 2019, I don't even believe these, 2018, but 2019, Border Patrol put down 0 during my term, 4 years. 2019, 0 terrorists allowed into our country. We had it down to drugs, the whole thing, human trafficking, mostly in women. You know, the human trafficking is mostly in women. But, you know, we're missing, think of this, 325,000 children are missing. They're gone. Never to be seen probably again. They're either sex slaves, or they're dead. Their parents will never see them again. They're missing. They come through the southern border. Think if I did that. Think if a Republican did that, what it would be. And the fake news back there never talks about it. They won't talk about it. But they have down that in 2019, 0 terrorists were allowed into our country. Now, I think they're probably wrong, but because there must be some. And then the next year they have down as 11, and we captured all 11 and took them the hell out of here. But think of this, now we have thousands of terrorists coming into our country, unvetted and unchecked. We can't do this, we can't do this. So the snake is a very interesting old song that was played that I played around with, made it a little bit more apropos, but it's really true, the snake. It's take me, vicious woman, and it's really something. So she dies, we're going to die, we're going to have a lot of death, because these people are just getting used to their surroundings, you know, they're getting used to it. This just started, when I say just started 3 years ago at a level that nobody's ever seen before. We have to have a safe country. We can't have a safe country when half of the worst terrorists in the world are let free into our country. And we're going to do something about it. And we're going to deport all of them, get them the hell out of here. Nothing good can happen. Nothing good is going to happen. And anybody that can be so stupid as to think that that's a good thing. And there's only 3 reasons it can be. They're stupid, which they're not, because anybody that can cheat at elections that well, they're not stupid. They hate our country, or they're trying to get those people to sign up and vote. And all 3 of them are not good. Immediately upon taking the oath of office, I will launch the largest deportation program in America. I will rescue every town across America that has been invaded and conquered, and we will put, and that's true, think of the words, towns that have been invaded and conquered. They've been conquered. They've been conquered. And a lot of, it's not everybody's Aurora where they're talking about it. We have many towns that are in the same position and worse, but they don't want to talk about it. It's out of control. And we have a lot of towns that haven't yet been infected, but they're petrified that they will be, and they will be. And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of the country so fast. To expedite removal of Trende, Aragua, and MS-13 gang members, the worst in the world. MS-13, you know about that. They come from South America, and they love knives. And they kill people with knives because it's more deadly than bullets. 2 young girls in Long Island walking down the street, a lot of them in Long Island, we got rid of almost all of them, but now they're coming back under this stupid, ridiculous group of people that we have in Washington. 2 beautiful 16-year-old girls are walking to school, MS-13 gang, during the early morning, grabbed them and sliced them up with a knife. They didn't want to use a bullet because it's too fast, and they sliced them up, both died. And we did numbers of those guys like you wouldn't believe. Nobody else would have done it. Nobody else would have done it. You have some people that think they should be protected. These are animals, and we have to deal with them accordingly, or we're not going to have a country left. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Think of how far back we have to go, because we have weak politicians that don't deal with these problems correctly. Like I did in Washington when they started ripping down our statues. They didn't get there. but I found an old act from the early 1900s that said if you touch one of our beautiful monuments of Lincoln, Washington, any one of them, you get automatically 10 years in jail. And they were going a little wild. Do you remember? They were going a little bit wild. They were a little out of control. They had ropes around General Jackson. They had ropes around Abraham Lincoln. When they put the rope around Lincoln, I said, all right, let's go. Let's go. That's a step too far. Would have been everybody. And they didn't care one way or the other. They're mostly just troublemakers. They didn't know. They didn't even know it was Lincoln, frankly. But I enacted the act, and I had a little news conference. I said, from this moment forward, anybody that so much as touches one of our beautiful Washington monuments goes to jail for 10 years with no parole, no nothing. And it was a beautiful sight because I looked out of the White House window and I saw thousands of people from the back. I watched all of those asses walking away from Washington, and we never heard from them again. It's an amazing thing. We never heard from them again. That was the end of that. But we have to be strong. So I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target the migrant criminal network, and it is a bad one, operating on American soil. We will target them. We will hit them so hard. If you don't, you're not going to survive. This is an army. This is an army that they allowed into our country. An army. And if they come back into our country after being thrown out, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or law enforcement. We have no choice because it's not sustainable by any country. It's not sustainable. I will end catch and release. I will end all migrant flights. Think of, I had a deal with Mexico. You think this was easy? Remain in Mexico. Nobody was allowed into our country. In Tijuana, this was the fastest growing city in the world. They had hundreds of thousands of people. They couldn't come into our country. I said, one person steps foot into our country without our approval. In other words, before we check them out, one person, we're going to put 100 and 200% tariffs on everything. And they said, sir, whatever you'd like. We would love to keep them. We would love to keep 500,000 people in Tijuana. And I will outlaw sanctuary cities immediately, and we will ban all welfare and federal benefits for women. We are running against the most radical and most incompetent, most unfit vice president in the history of our country. No one respects her. No one trusts her. You know, President Xi of China, they asked me, he's a friend of mine. I thought, we were actually very close, but frankly, COVID, or as I call it, the China virus, was a step too far. But we had a very good relationship. Putin, all of them, I know all of them very well. No one takes her seriously. Somebody said, what kind of a man is President Xi of China? I said, he's a fierce man. There's nobody in Hollywood that could play the role of him. He's a fierce person. And she will be she'll be gobbled up. They are looking so forward to this. But we're not going to let it happen because we're killing them right now. We're beating them so bad. And we're going to keep it going. Just get out and vote. Just get out and vote. Don't take any chances. Don't take any chances. Get out and vote. But we're not only running against Kamala. She's really purely a vessel. When you watch her, she's only a vessel, and he's only a vessel too. He was perfect for them. He didn't know where the hell he was. We're running against something far bigger than them, far more powerful than her, which is a massive, vicious, crooked, radical left machine that runs today's Democrat Party. That's what we're running at. We're not running against her. She's got nothing to say. I know every player. But this is who we're really fighting. These are the people who are doing such tremendous harm. harm to our country with their open borders, record-setting inflation, green new scam deals, and everything else they're doing to our country. But we are not going to let it happen any longer. We are going to have the biggest victory in the history of our country on November 5th. And we are going to very simply make America great again. We're going to make it. Kamala Harris does not have the compassion, the intelligence, or the strength. The presidency needs, I know what it needs. You meet some people. Among the worst that you're going to meet, though, are in our country. I call it the enemy from within. She can't do the job. She can't put two sentences together. She's an international joke. Every country is joking about how stupid our leadership is, from Biden to Kamala. They're a joke all over the world. She's going to end up getting us into World War III, just like he would if he stayed any longer. And on top of it all, she says she would not do one thing differently from crooked Joe Biden, which in itself is totally disqualifying. Take a look at this.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years? There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Just cut out any part. You can cut anything you want. Just put it in. When you see this, go ahead, please.
Is there something you can point to in your life, political life, or in your life in the last 4 years that you think is a mistake that you have learned from?
I mean, I've made many mistakes. They range from, if you've ever parented a child, you make lots of mistakes too. In my role as vice president, I mean, I've probably worked very hard at making sure that I am well versed on issues, and it's a mistake not to be well versed on issues if you help to answer a question.
So Nevada, if you want to end this disaster that we're going through, it's not even believable. These foreign leaders are very, very streetwise, very smart people. And they're looking at what's going on in our country. And they really don't want me, but in a certain way they do want me. Because the whole world, like Viktor Orban said, put Trump back in it, it'll all stop. We had no wars, we had nothing. They couldn't play games with us. They couldn't play games. So you must get out and vote. And you also have to fire your radical left senator, Jackie Rosen, who voted repeatedly for rampant inflation and open borders. And you have to elect a man who, by the way, has given up more to run for the United States Senate than any man in the history of the United States Senate, Sam Brown. Sam, where are you? And you're doing very well, Sam. That man is a hero, and he has given up so much, and he deserves it. And she's another laughing stock back. She just votes 100% with whoever she's supposed to vote with. She's no good. She's no good for you. She's no good for this area of the world. Bad senator, not respected. We have somebody that's a very respected senator. Senator Marco Rubio here? Where's Senator Marco Rubio? Where is he? He's around here someplace. Because we love him. There he is. Marco, thank you, Marco. Good man. We have Vivek Ramaswamy. By the way, this guy has a hell of a mouthpiece. Do you want to hear him for about 2 minutes? Can you keep it down to 2 minutes? Come on, let's go. Get up here, Vivek. What a mouthpiece on him. Oh, boy. He's like a machine gun. Come on up here, Vivek. All right. Nice, great guy. Great future.
I want you to give it up for the greatest president of the 21st century standing right here. We had a secure border, a growing economy. People were living prosperous lives with crime going down in this country. We were on the brink of war with North Korea. What happened? We had no major conflicts around the world when this man was our commander-in-chief. But I'll tell you this, as great as those 4 years were, the best we've had in my lifetime of any president who's led us, as great as 2016 to 2020 was, I promise you this, that second Trump term is going to be even greater. And by the time Donald Trump is leaving the White House, those signs you're holding aren't going to say "Make America Great Again." We're just going to say "Make America Greater." MAGA becomes MAG by the time he's done, and let's send him back to the White House. That's how we're going to save our country. President Trump, thank you for everything you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. 2.5 years ago, I saw him on a show. I think it was Deface the Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, you're on Deface the Nation. Deface. And he was talking, and I said, who the hell is that guy? And he did damn well. He did damn well. He ran, and he was incredible. And he's got a big future in this party, and we appreciate it. So I alluded a little bit to her before, but a true racing legend, somebody that I've had a lot of respect for. She is really something special. She is a very talented person, and now she's doing incredibly since leaving racing. She probably still will always be a little bit in racing, but she's an incredible success story. Danica Patrick. Thank you, Danica. Please. Thank you. Thank you, Danica. Sean Merriman, the great football player. I look at this guy. Where is he? Where is that guy? I said, I don't want to get into a fight with him. Thank you very much, Sean. He looks like he could play right now. Cash Patel, where's Cash? Thank you, Cash. Nevada GOP Chair Michael McDonald. Thank you. How are we doing, Michael? Good? Yeah, we're hearing good things. National Committee Woman Sigal Chana. Thank you, Sigal. Beautiful family, by the way. Beautiful family. Thank you. And a special guy. He's incredible. Turning Points, Charlie Kirk, and all of those people. He is a special talent. And he's out there fighting. He's out fighting for those registrations and the votes and making sure everything's honest. He's out there with a big army, and he's got all these very beautiful young people. He likes young people, and they are powerful. People have no idea how many young people there are that are conservatives in this country. An actress and an incredible fighter. I will not mess with her. Gina Carano. Thank you, Gina. Thank you. She's great. and a friend of mine, UFC champion, a man who you don't want to mess around with. He grew up in the streets of Miami at a young age, 9. And he was tougher than everybody else. He was tougher. And some rich guy from Miami saw this guy beating up everybody. He was 9 years old. At 12, they put him into a gym. And it continued. He beat the hell out of everyone. Danica, this is somebody you don't want to fight with. And then he became one of the best fighters in the world in the UFC with Dana White. Dana White's one of the great fighters too, I'll tell you. And this man has, I believe, still like 3 seconds, the quickest knockout in the, and I was there for that fight. I think it was like 2.5 or 3 seconds. He pretended he was like bored. The bell's getting, it was like this. Just like, you know, I said, what's wrong with him? And then he was like a flash, boom. And he runs across the ring and jumped through the air and he hit the guy in the face with his knee. The whole thing, he was out. And it's the fastest knockout in the history of the UFC. Jorge Masvidal. Where is he? This guy. I'm not going to fight him. I refuse to fight him. He's a man. And he's stone cold mean. But to me, he's nice. To me, he's nice. He's great. Thank you very much. And he's helped us so much with the Hispanic vote. I won Miami. Can you believe it? No Republican wins Miami. I won Miami because they love that guy. Right? He's a great fighter, great champion. So here are the final facts in conclusion on Kamala Harris. She's a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders or Pocahontas was. She destroyed our economy. She was an original creator of defund the police movement. And anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week is not worthy of being president of the United States. Kamala Harris vowed to abolish ICE. She vowed repeatedly to ban fracking. As California Attorney General, she redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as non-violent crimes. She pledged to confiscate everybody's gun. Anybody that has a gun, your gun will be She made this pledge. This is where she is, by the way. People don't change. Confiscate your gun, endorsed a total ban on handgun ownership. She even called for free sex changes for illegal aliens in detention. Think of that. You're an illegal alien and you're in detention and you call for a sex change operation and she feels you have an obligation to do it. This is not going to be the president of our country. All the taxpayer expense. And then, as you probably saw a few days ago, we had a little interesting visit to McDonald's, right? That turned out to be a big deal. I got a call from a great guy, the head of Google. He said, this is one of the hottest things. We have never seen anything like this. That was a big deal. That was a big deal. It was crazy. But you know why I did that? I went there you never know how something's going to turn out, right? You know, you go, they say, oh, I don't know, should we be doing this? This is a little hokey, should we? But I did it to just highlight the fact that for years, he said, I worked at McDonald's. I was over the French fry bin. I made French fries. The heat was so incredible, I had to do it. There was only one problem. She never worked at McDonald's. So I ended up going there for about 15 minutes, and it became quite I'll tell you what, we had 29,000 people surrounding it. We weren't sure if we would even be able to get out. That was quite the visit. But that was to highlight the fact. So I was there, let's say, for 15 minutes. That means I worked at McDonald's for 15 minutes more than Kamala. You know what it shows? That she's a liar. And she's still saying, yes, that'll work there. But now, you know, everyone's got... McDonald's tends to keep good records. We said, let's see your tax records. She didn't have them. Let's see anything. Give us anything. Had nobody. Then we went to the manager. He's been there a long time. No, she never worked here. She's a liar. And on top of all this, Kamala turned and wants to turn our military woke. Take a look at this. Take a look.
Happy Pride Month, and actually, let's declare it Sunday.
Now we're a little different, but you know what the truth is? We defeated ISIS 100% in record time. We have a great military. It's only those stiffs at top like Milley and Mattis and these characters that are on television. They're a bunch of stiffs. Kelly, real stiffs. But we have great generals. We defeated ISIS in record time. They thought it was going to take 5 years. When I came in, we did it in a matter of weeks. So, like you fight, Jorge, just like you fight. That's the way we fight. And those guys are never going woke. You could put them in a woke cage for 2 years and open the door and they'll come out fighting. They'll come out. Our military is great. And they proved that with ISIS. Once they had somebody that knew what they were doing, they proved it. Nobody has a better military. I rebuilt the entire U.S. military. Unfortunately, we gave a lot of it, but still not very much, relatively. But we gave a lot of it to Afghanistan. What a mistake. What a bunch of dumps. Remember this? They took the military out first. No, you take the military out last. So stupid, so sad. 15, you take a look at what happened. 13 people died, great people. I got to know a lot of the parents and the family members are great people, and they are devastated, and especially because it should have never happened. We gave up billions of dollars of equipment. We left American soldiers behind, and we left Bagram, the air base, the great air base, one of the greatest in the world. And you know who occupies it now? I want it. I was keeping it. China occupies it now. 1 hour away from China. Forget about Afghanistan. 1 hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons, and we gave it up like nothing. It was billions of dollars many years ago. In conclusion, with your vote this November, we are going to fire Kamala and we are going to save America. With your support, we will cut your taxes, end inflation, slash your prices, raise your wages, and bring thousands of factories back to America and back to Nevada. We will build American, we will buy American, and we will hire American. I will end the war in Ukraine very quickly. I will stop the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent World War III 100%. You're not going to have World War III. We will crush violent crime and give our police the support, protection, resources, and respect that they so dearly deserve. We will strengthen and modernize our military. We will build a massive missile defense shield around our country, all made in the USA. A lot of it will be made in Nevada. We will rebuild our cities, including our capital in Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. We will teach our children to love our country, to honor our history, and to always respect our great American flag. And I will put a bill before Congress that anybody burning our American flag goes to jail for 1 year automatically. And you saw that happen 3 months ago in Washington when they had riots and they were burning our American flag all over the place. And they were putting spray paint all over the beautiful lions as the entrance to one of our most beautiful buildings. And you know it's limestone. Limestone's a very porous stone. I was very good at this. You'll never get that limestone. You'll see that in 100 years, those scars that they put on the limestone. Because it goes right into that paint. There's not a damn thing you can do about it. And they weren't arrested. Nothing happened to them. We will get critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our schools. And we will keep men out of women's sports. I will defend religious liberty. I will restore free speech, and I will defend the right to keep and bear arms, our Second Amendment. After years of building up foreign nations, defending foreign borders, and protecting foreign lands, we are finally going to build up our country, defend our borders, and protect our citizens. That's what's going to happen. And we will stop illegal immigration once and for all. We will not be invaded. We will not be occupied. We will not be conquered. We will be a free and proud nation once again. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope, and the American dream is going to come back. But for that to happen, we must defeat Kamala Harris and stop her radical left agenda with a landslide that is too big to rig. Early voting is underway, and everyone get out of here and start voting. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. There will be great years. With your help, from now until Election Day, we will redeem America's promise. We will put America first, and we will take back the nation that we love. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down, and we will never, ever surrender. Together we will fight, 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 and we will win, win, win. November 5th will be the most important day in the history of our country, and together we will make America powerful again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America healthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. God bless you.
gentlemen, I come here before you to make an announcement and deliver a message. Ladies and gentlemen, I come here before you to make an announcement and deliver a message. The American people have woken up. The American people are now wide awake, and I know you, the people of Nevada, are wide awake. We are shining the bright light of truth on the shadow that is over the American Republic. Because we have sat back for far too long as our towns, as our cities have been turned into dumps. They've flooded us with infinite migrants, with illegal drugs, with violent crime, and we are here to say no more. We left our beloved towns, we left our communities, we packed our bags, and we said it'll get better. This'll all blow over, but it didn't. It got worse and worse and worse. And ladies and gentlemen, it was all done by design. By a godless, globalist elite that is hell-bent on breaking our spirit and turning us not into free citizens, but into mindless consumers. Well, I have a message for the globalists. You want to break our spirit? You will never break the